And we're live. And here I am at the fancy hotel. And a number of people have come. You can't be that poor to eat in restaurants. No. Thank you, dear. Thank you, Bucks. You're the best. Ba-doo-boo-boo. I spend my few little dollars to, I don't just come here to gorge. I only come here to talk to you guys. Right? Where I'm at, there's Wi-Fi, but it doesn't let me do chat. I look like a pixelated, 19th century painting. And the thing about life, my grandma had 28 rules to roll by. And one of them was to live like a millionaire, but not be one. Right? So I went to the doctors this week. And because I'm here out in the deep green and I'm trying to develop as good or somewhat level healthcare, right? And Tennessee really is probably one of the worst on the planet because they just, it's really truly amazing how they wouldn't go on for the Medicare connection to their health care, but they did take, the stuff for old people and the welfare stuff and stuff like that. What they did for the last decade or so was they put the money in their own piggy bank and didn't give it to poor people. It was allotted to them by the federal government, but everybody's taxes paid for that. But the politicians put it in their own back pocket, and up to a couple $1 billion. When you start getting into a couple of $1 billion, that's some money. And the state legislature actually passed laws saying that it was legal for them to do. And this goes straight up to what's going on. I'm the youngest guy eating here, except for the folks who have their kids who go to college here, right? So, like the guys over there are two old guys. Ooh, that was magic. And as I was coming in, they were talking, I'm not watching television. I don't want to watch that fake news. And I just dropped a few, things, that Jefferson said and that Ben Franklin said. And they were, and they're like college educated, rich guys, businessmen, kind of semi-retired. Now I have the kind of hearing my mother does, like a bat. I hear everything, but I don't comment on anything, except to you, my Connie. And I want to say, hey, we've been now going for 4 minutes and 4 seconds. And hi, I am your Sensei Al Bob, your griot, coming to you on your dreamy dreamland with Sensei Al Bob. Me, your griot, right? And don't believe a word I say. I'm just telling you stories, right? And the bright light. Ooh, the bright light over my head. Ooh. Anyway, so, I'm very blessed to be where I am out in the deep green, and I'm very blessed that the winter has been, knock on wood, that things have been, we really have had no snow. We really haven't, we have a little cold, but not really like 3 weeks straight of 40 degrees below zero. Are you sure? No, not yet. hit the wrong button. See, I don't know what I'm doing. And what I was really looking for was over here. And see if that goes up there up on the, yeah, so you guys can stream. And last week when I was here, and people complained that I was wearing, 7 layers of clothes. When you have no heat, 7 layers of clothes is what you wear. So you can take them off. So now I only have 4 layers of clothes, right? And I'm not that, oh, you're getting fat, man, Again, it's all relative. When I was working for the desperate corporate lawyers and I was living in the hedonist castle for 10 years and I gained 270 pounds from my already pretty heavy dude kind of guy, as they used to say in high school, you're big bone, you're going to play football. I said, I don't want to play football. You're going to play football. I don't want to play football. It's a small prep school, and I had to play football. But I didn't have to do it. I didn't do any exercises. I didn't do any, any kind of things. And our football team, we had about 10 guys on it, for both defense, offense, special teams, and so I just, yeah, whatever. You want exercise here? This is me doing jumping jacks, Now, when I swam, hey, I was a swimmer. When I played lacrosse, I was a lacrosse player. I was a god. I was a god. And, a sports team is everything from its, your coach on down. Most things have to work from the base up, coach down. And the example that your fellow players were examples. None of us wanted to play football, and I exemplified the character that didn't want to, because the first time we played football, right, I didn't exercise and I didn't do anything, but I was there as a tackle, and I knocked the helmet of the guy in front of me while we were like getting down and said, hey, listen, buddy, I don't want to hit you. I definitely don't want you to hit me. So, see that moron over there? He's a jerk. I don't like him. Now, you might probably be a nice guy. I might like you. So what I'm going to do, I'm just having faith that you're a nice guy. I'm going to pull back and go over here. Well, that moron comes running through here. You plant yourself and make it look like there's a hole there, and he'll try and run through, and you can tell the 2 buddies on either side of you to wait a moment and hit this guy with everything you got. Plant him in the ground. Right? So, and I said, and it's on 2. Tell your buddies, right? So they all get down, everyone's on 2, they tell each other, right? And so, go back and move over there. These guys let the guy come through. They pick him up on their shoulders and they run him back, and then plant him in the ground, and the ball comes flying out, and one of the guys catches it and then hikes it over to the really fast guy and immediately get a touchdown. And that's like within the first, 40 seconds of the game. And I did that every time until, they got 3 touchdowns, and within the first 4 minutes of the game, and my coach, what are you doing? I said, what did I say the first day? I don't want to play football. So that was the end of my football career. So one of the teachers came to me who was coach of wrestling. And she said, listen, I want you to be you got to be on a sports team. Why don't you get on the wrestling team? And I said, well, I lose weight, gain weight, be smelly, do. I said, you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is wear a costume. And I said, a costume? He said, yes. And he shows me these wrestling magazines, Mexican midget wrestlers who wear superhero outfits, with masks and capes. He goes, I got one of these for you. I sent away for it. And all you have to do is wear this, and I'm always going to put you up against whatever team we're against. I'm going to have you be up against the captain of their team. And all I want you to be, and then he showed me Three Stooges films, and he goes, just be like the Three Stooges. Don't let him get a hold of you. Just run around in circles, embarrass him, blow farts, do whatever you want, And I had a whoopee cushion with me, that I could squeeze in my hand. And oh, there it is. Here it comes. Thank you, Princess.
Anything else I can get for you?
No, a little mayonnaise.
Okay.
Mayonnaise. Well, you know what? Do you have any blue cheese salad dressing?
You want that instead of the mayonnaise? Okay.
Good. That's all I can say. I will end up paying around $12 for this. Now, if I went to Hardee's, got a breakfast sandwich with some crappy factory-made hash browns and a cup of coffee, I'd probably end up spending $7-8. They make these here. Okay, I'm machine, put the potato in there. Actually, really good. Fresh berries that they cook for me because I can't eat really hard things. And this beautiful, flaky massage sandwich. And a lot of coffee. So, I come to talk to you, but I enjoy this meal. From my grandmother on, all the indigenous people that I ever lived with always shared their food. When I lived in the Middle East, Islam, its number one thing isn't killing the infidel, it's being hospitable. One of the things the Europeans couldn't do is slow down enough to hang with the homeboys and homegirls. And I learned to do that. So that's what I'm doing with you. I'm sitting here, sharing a meal with you guys. So my wrestling coach was also my lacrosse coach. And when I was in seminary, they had sports. I wouldn't do any of them. And they saw sports as they made you do them, but they kept saying, thank you. I'm saying that was an honor. Beat each other's heads in. No. To be tormented by the, sexually perverted priest, your coach. No. So and we did great in wrestling. I was a great midget superhero wrestler. And I was totally demoralized their team. I started watching the wrestling shows with this guy, and he actually was a martial arts guy. He had been a Marine and had gotten blown up. So he got to go to college and then be a teacher. But he knew martial arts. He had been in Korean War. Well, so he showed me how to use Aikido, the other person's energy against themselves. And he wasn't like my sensei, who 6, 7 years later, I was in Putney, Vermont, learning, you know, mystery school healing. But he was very good as a martial artist. So the one thing I learned how to do was when someone went to grapple me, to get their center of balance and to upend it and throw them through the air over my shoulder. And then with that kinetic energy that's going, grab their arms and slap them onto the mat. And then part of my costume was I was called the Turtle. And I had this like catcher's thing, but it had not Kelvar, but um, fiberglass, right? So it was a hard, turtle. And I would, after I would slap them on I would fly through the air and crash on them, their front, with my turtle chest. And that would, and I wouldn't like sit on him. I would just get up, go over to my corner, and just, and he normally wouldn't get up, and they would count him out. And not everyone fell for that. Maybe out of the 12 matches we had, maybe 4 fell for that. But the rest, I just embarrassed them and kept farting and running around them like, whoa, 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 whoa. Until they would get so frustrated, they would try and punch me. And then they would get thrown out. So I won about a third of my matches. And these were the chief of the wrestling clan. I would totally embarrass him. And I had a load of fun, and I inspired my fellow wrestlers. And when we would play, schools that were co-ed, girls would think that was pretty cool. Because we would have these teas. I would come out in my pep school suit, but I would wear the mask and the cape. Whipped cream, they make it. And with the chip, this will cost me, 14, 16 bucks. I don't do this every day, maybe 4 or 5 times a month. Because the place that used to be in my neighborhood, a general store that had a little place to get a sandwich that had really good Wi-Fi, that got closed. you know, after Christmas. He's not open until May. I knew he was going to do. And I tried to organize him. I showed him some grants he could get as a community center that he would, probably make more money doing that than what he was doing as running the store. They said, I don't want welfare. I said, this ain't welfare. This is you doing the service for your community, because there are at least 100 or 200 people who depended on that store. Because their car couldn't make it, the 40 miles to the Walmarts. They were all like me, meaning they never went to the 3 towns that are in 3 different directions, 40, 50 miles from the front door. Oh, Janie Boo. I don't know. I saw my shadow. Berries, whipped cream. I'm sharing this with you. Potatoes made here. Blue cheese and ketchup. So, Jane, what do you think of the shadow? Because, it's a radio show. Only the shadow knows. Because what we are, like right here, I'm in this place that all the rich people are. I would pick my laptop and do a spin. That they already kind of look down at me that I do this here. Well, nobody wants to know what's going on. They want to keep their head in the sand. They back their boy or their girl. They're all the same. The difference between, Carrot Head, Pinhead, and, War On, that's what he is. The same with Bolotsky. When we lied about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, George W. and Dickie Boy went to Mount Lepotsky and a few other, heads of both parties and told them what was going on. Told them that they were going to torture people. Told them that they were going to basically obliterate the Mideast, except for their good buddies in Israel and Saudi Arabia, which are basically the same people. Right? That's why, talk about somebody who needed to be impeached. Dick Cheney and one of those clowns, Rumsfeld, should have been definitely impeached. They should definitely have been sent to Gitmo in armored suits. Talk about war crimes. But the rest of the world, the UN, World Trade Organization, is going hard and heavy after Iran. But not, not transparent at all. Yep. Hey, landed here. Zero. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a box. Zero hero. Our government spends $1.2 billion a day on killing people around the world. 700 million just in Iraq. and we're not even there. And who's the Iraqi people aren't getting anything out of it. Halliburton sure is. Blackwater sure is. Yep. Sock puppets. All our politicians are sock puppets. Yep. I had to drive 50 miles here to come here to do this live chat because where I am, my Wi-Fi bandwidth is so small, can't do chat. And when I try to do a live show, I look pretty worried. Yeah. Gonna make Musare great again by allowing the wealthy to have all the power. The poor, like you, don't get any break. Well, what we need to realize is that we have all the power. They don't. They're a very limited group of people. And that's where a lot of people send me a lot of great YouTubes and other links. And I put them up on my playlist. And there was one by a guy who was a soldier. And this is, I guess in the early 06s, not now. But I think he was still in. He was wearing, they call it fruit salad, all the medals he was wearing, right? And there were a lot of blue, purple hearts and a lot of silver stars. That meant this guy went above and beyond, put his life in harm for his brothers and sisters in uniform, right? And he basically said it like it was, War is all about making money for Wall Street and the World Bank and killing the innocent. And that's where we are right now. And he goes, and people ask me, what should I do? Should I get involved in the political party? Should I? No. That's like George Carlin said. And so did the guy who wrote a book called None Dare Call It Conspiracy, Gary Allen. He was a friend where we both studied at Georgetown with Dr. Quigley, who is the historian for the Council on Foreign Relations. So this guy had the inside dope. And Quigley wrote one great book, amazing book, called Hope and Tragedy. Basically saying that humans with this great hope have great potential. We live in a world of abundance. We're on a planet of the Garden of Eden. But the small hand of reptiles are causing conflict. And the interesting thing about this group of reptiles is that they haven't been around forever. They've really only been around for a few hundred years. They had been here in different fashions, like the Nephilim, right? And the Anunnaki, and that good old Aryan Brotherhood. And what it did was, it's like in the Greek mythologies, the gods in Mount Olympus, they couldn't make humans do that. They could just whisper in their ear. And Aries is a good example. And if you go to the movie Wonder Woman, first one, in World War I, and she jumps out of the trench with her bathing suit on, right? And inspires the men, right? And she thinks the sixth general who's, causing all this catastrophe is Ares. No. He's just a moron that Ares is whispering. Ares is the guy in the suit in the room of all the bankers. And he, is just manipulating humanity. And that's what's going on with us. We're being manipulated. So, this soldier guy gets this great speech. You go into my, links, my faves, my playlist, you will see most most recent Edge, this guy's speech. And he goes, and people ask me, what should I do? Should I get involved in politics? Should I start a movement? Should I? No. Because all those things are fixed. And Bernie, let's come back to the only person I see who's not a scumbag, not a sock puppet, is Steve Dabner. Right? But if he gets any kind of movement, there was a guy in the Senate named Wellstone. He was the only honest guy there. He was the only guy who kept pushing his fellow senators to do the right thing. Because he always did. Didn't take the money. Didn't go to the parties where he slept with them. He loved his wife and his kids. He made this amazing speech about why we shouldn't go into Iraq and why we should vote in the Patriot Act. He was right there. He like had it with the, hey, this is what's going on. And he was flying home, and he had some money, so he was on a private jet, right? And he was coming into land. Beautiful day, spring day, not a cloud in the sky, nothing wrong. And 30 seconds from landing, somebody hit. Because he had his Gulfstream had a glass control, everything fly by wire. Everything got turned off. Airplane flew out of the sky. All the control surface flipped to a stall, and the airplane just boom, right, and burst into flame, and everyone. Senator Wellstone, his wife, his kids, his assistants, his dog, everybody, right? That's why John, his airplane fell out of the sky because he was potential. He was coming after. He was playing the long game. He had all the money in the world. He had all this. People loved him. Why do you think his sister hides, under the covers? Well, Soldier Boy said, okay, want to do something about this? And this was just when Occupy was coming online. And whether he coined the phrase or he just picked it up, I think he might have, because it happened because Occupy started after the crash of 08. And I think this was before. They said everyone needs to occupy their job, go to work. How did the workers, get a living wage and safe working environments in the coal mines and the steel mills and the factories because they went on strike? They organized. You go. Fact is, It's gullibility. See, there's a real difference between gullibility and naivete. Naivete is when you believe in the best in human beings. Gullibility is when you just want to get your cut and hope that no one screws you as bad as you're getting screwed already. And so, zero heroes. Comment of you gullible F. It's like, right on, right? Well, I've been involved in many movements, but I use my 3 rules. Don't get involved. Doctor, do no harm. I don't get involved if my presence will not do better than my absence. Don't get involved unless you have a positive exit strategy and you're going in to save the innocent ones, right? And get them out of harm's way. Number 3, don't get involved unless you can learn something that will move the whole thing forward. Right? So those are my 3. My grandma had 28 rules. I had 3. Those 3. Pretty much it. Fresh whipped cream and berries. Ooh. But they give you just a little too little to not really swag them up. More berries than I had them. Just to get another one of these cost me much as berries and whipped cream. So I just have to be satisfied. And that's the story. Just be satisfied. Not satisfied. Wrong word. Appreciative for what you have in front of you. I don't know about this 0. If he makes me laugh, he's okay. Come on. We can't judge anybody. We're all kind of. Yeah, Dragon is back. It's great to see Dragon's back. So, I just keep trying to knock them out. Do my best. That's why it's so disappointing that I can't just do them, back in the deep green. I can put on a stream, but you guys can't seem to get on the live chat. I don't have enough bandwidth there. So, once a week, I come to someplace like this and have a nice breakfast and share it with you. Right? That's what it's about. They make the ketchup themselves, and they have this blue cheese that you can just drink. I mean, it's blue cheese salad dressing. Yum, yum, yum. Sub-Zero. You're Brazilian. To the bomb, man. To the bomb. I used to live in Buzios in 1988 for a whole year. And Buzios has changed. It's become totally corporate. It used to be totally Nazi. And you, Kalena, can you, the other great thing to do is to lick the ball. It gives a sense of yumminess that keeps you in practice. My wife used to say I was the best lesbian she knew. My first wife. My second wife loved it because she called me her personal teddy bear. And she liked the bar. She came up to about here on me. But she was, I would just kind of walk by her like this as her, you know, how a mixture of Smokey and Boo Boo and Yogi would be. She used to call me Bubba Bear. Or Bubba. Because I took her down south once. Because before really the South became Atlanta and Charlotte. And drinking that stuff. Oh, there we go. I was wondering where you went. Spoon is the best implement. Kalame. What kind of child is that? Well, Jan, remind me who Nick Jar is. Oh, let's see. Thoughts on Nick Jur. Who is Nick Jur? Mm-hmm. Super bad connection. Well, goes with the territory. I am psychic or something, yes. And so is Buddy. So is the cadre. That's why we're the cadre. We are connected. There's a friend of Buddy who Buddy sent to me as many people have sent to me to talk and listen. And, they say, every time I think of something, I go, because their timing and their life doesn't allow them to, watch these things live. But as most people do, the 50 or so thousand who watch this don't, subscribe, but they do watch it, and they do get a hold of me at Gmail, and that's one of the good things about where the YouTube the Gmail, no, no, the Wi-Fi that I'm exposed that I can get allows me to Gmail. So if you want to get a hold of me, I'm pretty accessible at the Dude Awake 42 at Gmail. So. Jen, never retract anything. Just put it in a way that that you're proud to put out there, right? That's one of the things my grandma taught me. Don't say anything unless you want to say it, unless you're proud to say it, and then she was also that's why I'm into ethnography and into etymology, where the word comes from, and ontology, the meaning to life. These are all things that my grandma had me study, like at 5. And then she sent me off to the, Columbia, our public school. Our kindergarten was in Columbia, and we were like lab rats there. They were looking at how we did things and what we were doing, and they started teaching me Hebrew and Latin when I was 5, which is when you should be getting taught that. Well, Kelly, we are all that kind of child. It's part of the human condition. Because most people, their life is one big masturbatory experience. They don't do anything. They don't have a life. They do what they're told to do. They believe, instead of understanding. And they should be overstanding, not understanding. You want to be underneath someone's foot, that's understanding. You're understanding that. Overstanding is you're like, oh, look what's going on. Fed the world on oats and raisins. I lived on oats and onions, so I never knew its friend. Yeah, Meher Baba. Yeah, I love Meher Baba. Meher Baba's like Jesus, like Buddha, like Vishnu. They all have that presence of being aware and awake. That's the beauty of Meher Baba. He's awake. And what I love about Meher Baba, it's not just he or some guy or guru or or sensei like yours truly. I am nobody's holy man. I am just your sensei, telling you your griot, telling you a story. And I'm here to listen to your responses on the chat, which I love. And understanding, yep, exactly. Okay, I'll use that from now. But there's a, Rasta term called overstanding, so that's where I'm coming from. When I use that, and they're big into my Baba. It's called Haile Selassie, So, it's nothing. It's good blue cheese dressing when you can just drink it. Yep, trail makes gurus. Yep. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. And I share these meals because I'm enjoying them, and I want you to enjoy them too. I see people eat and they just shove it in their mouth. Now, that little sandwich and those 8 French fries and that bowl of fruit, it took me 30 minutes to eat. Most people would have sucked that down in 5 seconds. Mm-mm. Oh, that was good. Mm-mm. Mm. That was Yum City. Mm. I'm glad I shared it with you guys. So the thing I have been doing from my Wi-Fi are these little. I put them on my camera and then I upload them, right? And I haven't figured out how to do special effects, but I guess I won't on my laptop. On my phone, I have, and so I, can. It comes the closest I can get to, high value productions. And so the last one I put on was, the Alien Overlord, and that's closer to truth than most people would want to know. But you guys need to go watch the Crow House channel on YouTube by Max Agon. He's from Australia, and he's got the what's going on there. And he really has an interesting perspective. And he's again like me, don't believe a word I say, but he does a much better. He backs everything up. He's a true scholar. He backs it up. I don't have anything, backing anything up. I'm just a storyteller, right? But Tartania, let's say, a place over there where Ukraine is kind of now, and it was that place right between the East and the West, and it was super culture. That's why all of that amazing Asian stuff was in Syria. It's that was on one of the edges. And they were like the cousins to the Atlanteans. They had some pretty high tech, and some characters from a darker age of another dimension kind of popped in here. And that was, a good example. If you go read about torsion fields, right? When they, made high voltage alternating current and they built all these dams and had these gigantic generators at the end, right? Where the current comes off this thing called an armature, right? But at the end of that, the way the magnets are set up, that field is 90 degrees to that armature. So there's this current, this field, 0-point energy. Amazing, more current. And Tesla, that's what Wardenclyffe was. He used that to transmit unlimited amounts of current and data frequency through the scalar frequencies. And Morgan, through Rockefeller and Rothschild, said, well, we own you, so don't worry about it. We're not, we can't meter this, so we're not going to do it. We're going to use it for our own military. And so that's what the Philadelphia experiment was. And there were other experiments before that. Before Tesla, there were guys who came over from Germany, who came from the Thule Society and other esoteric mystery schools, and came to California because California is called the Sun State for, it's right on, that San Andreas Fault. There's also an energy vortex where these two planes, it's just like that, the armature of the generator, these two planetary planes are coming and creating amazing torsion fields. So these guys in the 1830s went to California right? And did all these experiments and developed gravomagnetic propulsion. They called the Airship Club of Sidonia or something like that. And so all of this technology, all of this politicalness, all of this amazing craziness that's going on right now, since the Boer Wars, came from these guys, and they got, that's why that, she is right. And there's 1,200 people who rule the world, basically. There's something like 17 families. And the Tudors, the alleged Queen family line. No, they come from this Victorian, this Aryan thing back in the day. From the Caharzian mob. And virtually every president is in the blood lineage of all of that. Even Obama, George W. and Obama were like cousins, and George W.'s mama, her daddy, Barbara Bush's biological father was the guy who started the Church of Satan there in England. What's his name? So things are weirder than you think. Yep. And Baba is no guru. Like I said, he's like Jesus and Vishnu and Buddha. Exactly. Timmy, it's like God. Who's God? God is Baal. That's why I call the prime moving force of the universe love's co-creation. I don't call it God or Yahweh or any of that crap. Love. That's the only thing that exists. Ombre yellow, yes. Pretty. But it was on sale at the Goodwill. It was nobody wanted it. It was in the free box. Pretty much, I have no place to wash my clothes because the stream that's nearby is so polluted with farm waste. I'd start growing limbs. So, I go once every other week to the free box and grab a few things that nobody wants that fit me. So that orangey coat, that's a woman's coat. It's a big puppy woman's coat, but it fits me great. And it's made out of super duper insulating. It's the one thing. All I have to do is wear that. Thank you, dear. So no, keep guessing. It's not Anton LaVey, it's the other one. And Anton LaVey did write that book, but So Above, So Below. Oh, what's that guy's name? English guy. Crawley, that's the guy. Barbara Bush's biological father is Crawley. So George W.'s biological grandfather, matrilineal grandfather, is Crawley. Go check that one out. It's there in Google. It'll be interesting to see, So China, one of these things about the coronavirus, it definitely looks like it's engineered, right? And it's engineered to be scary because you have to realize the flu, like last year's flu, right? Something to the order of 114 million people in the United States got it, right? Something to the order of 60 million were really sick from it, and something to the order of 88,000 people died of it, right? So we've had about 12 people die of this coronavirus, right? The thing that's scary about the coronavirus is that it is, it's like a kimono. It's an animal virus that humans got, and now humans are transmitting it, right? Through breath, right? And most susceptible, kids, wash your hands and don't touch your eyes, right? So that's, if you do that, and, when you go into I was in a hospital the other day. I took a friend there, and I was wearing a hazmat suit, and people were like, oh my God, because not only did I had this mask that I have lots of these masks that not only cover your face, there's this thing that goes right up against your nose and your mouth and puts it out the side. And then there's another thing over that, and a little knobby thing where you breathe in, and that's super clean. And then there's a foam little thing that goes all the way around your head and covers your face from your ears all the way around with a plastic shield about this long. And I had blue gloves to here, and I wore that in to this hospital. I took my friend in there, and he's not sick. I said, no. This is a prophylactic. And after people, they were like, he's wearing a rubber. Whereas the one doctor who was smart goes, oh, smart guy. And she goes, what'd you do? Work for the CDC? I said, yeah, kind of. I was an EMT a long time ago, and I got trained for this. And I still have a bunch of the stuff in boxes, So, just had to be prepared. Ounce of prevention worth it. So if I'm going into a 1 in 8 people who walk through the door of a hospital dies there, and half of those people aren't even patients. So, and if you go into a hospital where you find hand sanitation every 5 feet on the wall, in the hallway, in every office, that's a good hospital. If you don't see any of it, you shouldn't even walk in. So that's, let's see. So we've been going on for an hour and a minute and 11 seconds. I love it. Let's see. Otherwise, just another. Yeah. Yep, sell them filthy vaccines. Well, it wasn't so weird why the Iranian shot down that plane was there were a whole bunch of company people, let's say that, company people who had to get out of town because they would have compromised a great deal of information. So the plane took off, and they understood that these guys had got away on that airplane, and they kind of threw the dice, whether to kill them all and make a message, we're ready to do this. We're ready to wipe out 172 people. We're only 60 we're valid targets. We're ready to sacrifice, and the people on the airplane were our citizens. We're ready to sacrifice them to go after those MFs, so fracking morons. You have to realize that the Iranian, so they had a government that was duly elected in the 40s, and those guys were wanting to kick British Petroleum and the Anglo oil companies like the Seven Sisters out of Iran and basically nationalize their own resources and give it back to the people. Well, the CIA basically got rid of that guy and put him in the show. No validity, no authority, no nothing, no votes, just put this guy in, right? The Ayatollah, see what, he was just another one of the mullahs, but he was owned by the intelligence, the Anglo-American intelligence, Nazi, Anglo-American Nazi intelligence force, like the Brotherhood. Our Brotherhood is a Nazi, thing started in World War I. So, and the Nazis started, way back there in the 1840s, right? Go look up the Vole Society, all the mystery schools, right? These are all where it's all coming from. And, between the ages of 11 and 41, I was constantly part of that community, but I wasn't written in. I never drank the Kool-Aid. I never said, you know, you know, Satan is my God. No, never did that. But I was happy to study in their libraries. I was happy to write things for them, which I knew they never would use because the way I wrote them. Just like if you go to my xratted.blogspot.com, you know, so one of these cats stumbled across me and then went on to xratted.blogspot.com. Those guys are Masons. They just did the Mason handshake. And that's the way it rolls. You know, especially in this is, you know, the richest rich of the rich kind of places you can be in within a 40, 50 mile, maybe 100-mile radius. They have all these conference rooms over there. And that's where the Masonic Lodge has their big 33. They have a room called, you know, black and white floor and other little symbols, and they call it the 33 room. The room over here is 111, and the room over there is 114, and the one in the middle is the 33 room. Okay, that's what Janie said here. It's weird. You know, so that's the story about the Iran plan, you know. And so Iran is really Anglo-American Nazi front, you know, a cutout. That's Iran, you know. Keep everything. They gotta have somebody to be a constant enemy, and it's a state. You know, and the guy who they whacked, you got my little thing. Thank you, dearest. You know, that guy, he was all of that for $12.25. Can't beat it. Oops, wrong one. Those guys are talking about their service when they went in. Yeah. Once you go in, you never come out. I kind of quoted Jefferson and Franklin, and then I quoted who's the French Zola about war. You know, that the only thing war serves is the banker. They didn't like that. They ignored me. I see. Some say that we're astrological hard times like no. The astrological hard times is what we just got out of, the Piscean age. We're in the Aquarian age. Now we are in that birth stage, you know, we're at that crossover, but that started back in 1947. 47 was an interesting time. And we got totally out of it in 2012. That was the end of the Mayan calendar, which is not end of times, you know, it's just the end of the Piscean age, you know. So we're now in the total Aquarian age. What is the Aquarian age? Understanding everything through love's co-creation, right? But like the guys who are going to walk by, you know, They were they keep doing that, the Mason handshake. Oh, it's no secret. So ay, ay, ay.
Appreciate you. See you later.
So what service were you in, sir?
Pardon?
What service were you in?
Airborne, 11th and 87.
Ooh. Were you in Vietnam?
No, in between.
In between.
Between Korea and Vietnam.
Well, the thing about America, we're always in somebody's war.
Pardon?
We're always in someone's war.
I'm sorry, I still didn't hear.
The thing about the United States is we're always in someone's war.
Yeah.
We have 1,000 places where we have ships, airplanes located, and we're always in. Right now, we're in 200 wars. 200.
Well, it's because everybody wants what we have.
No, it's because we're, you go look at Africa. Every country that has no resources, no oil, no gold, no diamonds, no minerals, they have no war because the IMF doesn't want it. We're there
Nobody
to.
wants them, you see.
No, we steal everyone's stuff.
Good to see you.
Yeah, baby. Remember, USA. Ah. And they all want our stuff. Really, what stuff do we have that we want? Oh. The Johnny party. Jane, explain to me what a Johnny party is. It's like Christmas time. So many things in my mind there. It's a Johnny party, that thing that Jamie Hillier has, those emojis, right? About tech wars. Well, all war is tech war, But again, you have to realize that what we're experiencing now really isn't it's human nature. No, human nature was to, make love and not war. They didn't even know what war was. The caveman was a more civilized character than Homo sapiens sapien. It had a bigger brain than we did. It was all about art and beauty and loving those you love. Loving the ones you're with. So it's one of those interesting things. And that's why his story is his story. So, hey, that was a good breakfast. Good fans, good food, good company, good conversation. Mystery is my story. So, Jamie, what do you know about the mystery schools? The Theosophical Society. I used to live in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and my landlord was a rabbi, and we talked every time, at least a couple times a month. Sweetie, you can take my bill. And so he was someone who really gave me the tutorial about Kabbalah, about mystery schools. You got a mouth. Yeah, I got a mouth. Here we go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. And can I have a to-go cup for coffee?
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm definitely in that. Back in the day, I would get in my hammock and read a book right now because I am so satiated. And that's, when you eat, you should eat only what it takes to satiate you. That's why eating slow is the way to go. Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
Everything should be done slowly. So slowly with perfection. When I did electric work, when I did any kind of work, I would, not rush around. I would, when I started in the union, Local 3, IBEW, when I was about 19, and I worked on the World Trade Center, right? I was an apprentice, even though I was 19. I worked 10 years for Grandpa Stahl, who started the IBEW. That's how I got in. And and I worked on the first day. I worked under a great master, right? And he showed me, okay, you're a good mechanic, I've seen you work. Now I'm going to make you a better one. This is how you become a master electrician. So and I was like, yes, sensei. And when we worked, wherever we were, if we were there for more than just fixing something, we were going to install something. We were going to work there. We would build a table, and we would work off that table. We'd put all our tools out. It was like going in an operating room, And and we'd lay everything out, and we'd have good lighting on it. We'd have electric there. We were the electricians, so and we'd lay the job out, and we would proceed in a procedural kind of way. And we would, he didn't smoke, I didn't smoke. He had his little thermos of tea. We would drink tea. I had, he had a big thermos, and he was Russian and German, and he would, we would drink all day, but we wouldn't stop working. We wouldn't stop working. Yep. Okay. Oh, goody. So, and so we would get more work done, just the two of us. And one day, that a crew of 5 or 6 would get done in 3 days. Because we never stopped. We didn't stop for lunch. We didn't stop for breaks. We didn't smoke cigarettes. We just kept working. And a nice, slow, even pace. Didn't work ourselves out. You had a nice, little chair that had a step stool, 3 steps up, got them 3 feet up in the air. And he made it himself. It had casters. And when he sat down, they kind of went down and he didn't move. And the top was kind of padded. And he had along the steps these little places where he could stick all his tools that he needed. And I never saw one of these until 30 years later at Harbor Freight. There was something similar to that, And he in the center he made this thing, and he made me one. And so whenever we were putting in duplicates or switches, it was the right height to roll around the space, right? All our tools and everything we needed, so we didn't have to go looking for stuff, right? And and we had a similar ladder that was 9 foot tall, right? And he had it balanced in such a way that you could get up to 12, 14 feet, which is as high as most construction things. They had another one for 12 foot and above. Right? So I spent a lot of time on ladders, and that's my ankles are totally mush because I was like, spent 30 years on ladders. And so everything is about pace. Everything is about timing. And our society is totally out of whack from timing and pace. What can you say about cult of Anton Verhow? Cult of Anton LaVey, that guy? All those guys who had, satanic church, any church, it's a business plan. Any religious belief is a business plan. All we folks who have teachers, that's not a belief. That's a teacher. Jesus was a teacher. Buddha was a teacher. Vishnu, teacher. And what they were helping their cadre was to learn to listen to their heart. Maya Baba, what is Maya Baba's teaching? To learn from your heart, not some book. And what's the most important thing of Maya Baba? Any of you Maya Baba folk out there, tell me what Maya Baba's most important thing is. Do 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 do. So I'm sure you're talking about Anton LaVey, right? That guy, all those folks, all those people who, and Anton is just one of the sock puppets who, just like Scientology, all of those guys, and they all interconnected. The guys at Scientology were part of JPL. All the four guys who started JPL started the, were buddies of Anton and also the guy back in England, Alistair. So again, they're all business plans. It's all about money. It's all about power. It's all about control. The truth is not about control and power. The truth is about service to love. And love's co-creation. That's what's true. That's the only thing that exists. Everything else is an illusion. Okay. So, fill me in. The cult of Anton. Am I pronouncing right? Aton? And again, anything that's a cult is a religion. Anything that's a religion is a business plan. Right? It's all about power and control. And you get your power out of controlling folks, right? And usually has a lot to do with sex and fear, right? So I would say that cult of ATOM is about control through the power of sex and fear and self-love. Chicken, egg, is that the chicken or the egg with a broken heart? I'm just going to sit here and enjoy my breakfast. So do they give you breakfast before you start?
Yes, I'm supposed to pay for it, but usually if it's just me and Tessa, they'll make us some eggs or something like that.
It's always good to eat with the family.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm doing here. I'm eating with the family.
Eating with your family?
Yeah.
I have some family. I have some kids too.
Yep. And you guys have great Wi-Fi, so.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You guys have to pass me the whole
Well, it's it's for rich people, so it's got to be good. Wet fart chicken. Yes, I hate those wet farts when they start drooling down your leg. Ooh, my dad had that seriously, and he didn't care. He was expelled from the WalMarts and Targets and those kinds of stores in his neighborhood because I said, "Come on, Dad, let's get some of these Depends." He said, "Oh, I don't wear those. I don't need those." And he would wear these baggy shorts, and he would just and just like shake it down his leg. His house was a mess. I had to find someone who was, anal retentive, who loved cleaning it up. I did. I found someone, and she would almost. She was at the state of ecstasy where she would have paid me to clean up his wet parts, and so I have to. I'm just like my parents. I have all the things that they have. Maybe not the same level or category, but we are very much like our parents. When we start to get old, you start to realize how much you are like my parents. And my brothers and sisters, such a joke because they fighting. I'm not like them. That's why I spent 28 years. Last 28, my parents were in their mid 70s. And they basically, my brothers and sisters hated them because my brothers and sisters worked for my parents, so they were under the thumb of my parents, and me never was there. And when my dad told me when I was, said, "Who are you? You're not one of us. You don't belong here." He was right. I wasn't one of them. I didn't belong there, so I didn't stay there. But basically, I drink coffee between 11 and 3, and it empties me out, so I don't have wet parts at night. It's in my sleep. I hate that. We wake up in that mushiness. Ooh. My dad. I remember one time he came in stinking and "You need to clean this up." I said, "No, Dad. No. You need to wear Depends." "I'm not wearing those things." I said, "Good luck." That's when I found the lady. And she actually was the nighttime person who took care of my mom. And she would clean up his sleepy wet farts. Jamie, it's always a pleasure to see you, my buddy. Um, your friend, I've been talking to your friend, told me at the dudeawake42 at Gmail. Right? Buddy, did you get my Gmail? My response? Yes. It's always good to have, you start me down a path. It'd be nice to have a continuation of communications. You know where the peace sign came from, guys? There is a story behind it. Back when we tested the first hydrogen bomb, and it was like 10,000 times stronger than we had mathematically figured out. Right? Because what the hydrogen bomb really was just opening up the dimensional crack a tad, and the energy, the 0 point energy, was the resonance of that. And we didn't understand it, that moron, Dr. Strangelove, um, it wasn't until we went to the Nazis in Argentina, who already had been doing time travel. Right? And if you go to Joseph P. Farrell, in one of his books, gives a great historically documented dynamic of all of that. How the Nazis had the atomic bomb way before we did. I mean, that's how they killed 60 million Russians, And they killed 60 million Russians in less than 3 years, and that would be a lot of shooting and so. Anyway, so we had budgeted 3 hydrogen bombs. So we blew up the first one, and it nearly, was out there in the Marianas, and it nearly obliterated Japan. And it was only a few years that we dropped the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, so they were a little sensitive about that. What did we do? We doubled down. We did, so that thing was Shrimp, Mike, and I forgot what the third one was called. The third one, when they detonated it, rang the bell of the friggin' sun, and blew holes in the troposphere, right? And then, 5-6 years later, we doubled down on that and put hydrogen bombs on Nike Zeus missiles and shoot them up into the troposphere. Baboom! And that's why Australia is like a microwave oven. There is no ozone above Australia at all, and other noble gases that protect us from certain radiations are gone too. And that's one reason why, global warming is a joke. If you really look at the statistics, we have some hot days, but there've been way hotter days. I mean, I was in Australia in the late 70s, and I was there when it was 100, and in Sydney, it was 140 friggin' degrees. And in the last 10 years, I haven't even gotten close to that. Right? And I used to walk around, I had a white umbrella that I put tinfoil on the bottom of, right? And I walked around Sydney and all of Australia with this big umbrella. I mean, like a golf umbrella, gigantic, almost a patio umbrella. And I would wear a Kaftan, right, with a hood, right? And then I had this other thing that was a Kaftan that I covered in. I found this really great aluminum spray, and I did that, and then I covered it with a linen. I wore the linen one, and then threw on the aluminum sprayed one. And people would look at me like, and I would be wearing Weather's goggles, and my wife and other friends were running around. Oh, we're getting such a great tan, Now they're getting baked. And when we lived with the Aborigines looked at me looking like that, and they go, "Smart white boy," and they knew all about it. And Grandfather David, once we were doing a walkabout, and he was telling me, when they put those deadly pencils up into the upper sky and made a false sun, that was bad juju. And he didn't see it. No, he didn't read no newspaper. They didn't advertise that until the 1990s. But he knew all about it. He knew history better than anyone I ever met, because he knew the real story. He was the one who constantly told me, "Don't believe anything. Nothing is what it seems to be. If you want to know what's going on, go to Dream Time." And that's why this is Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Allah. I try to help you go into dreamland, into dream time, to see what's really going on, to illuminate yourself with the prana, ground yourself in your chi, illuminate your imaginary mirror, go into your subconscious, which is your, library of your Akashic record, evacuate all of the fear, the anger. Right? Oh, there's only 2 of you left. Anyway. So they're getting ready to throw me out. It's time to go back into the deep green. I'll see you probably Wednesday, give or take. Maybe yes, maybe no, maybe Tuesday, who knows? I play it day by day. Anyway, so it was great seeing you all. Nope. I'm pretty good about looking at my diet. I lost 270 pounds in less than 5 years. I eased myself back from the edge of death. But, the thing about death is a great gift, because it's the only thing we can depend on. We can't depend on anything else, right? I could never depend on my parents. No. Luckily, I understood them and knew them, so I didn't expect anything. They were a great disappointment to my sisters when I was taking care of my parents. And my parents went in 2008. And my dad, I knew, things were bad were coming. And I said, Dad, you need to, you don't need these two big houses. People who want to give you millions of dollars for them, why don't you bail? Gold is really good at this. I gave him a whole, you don't know what you're talking about. Bingo. Less than 30 days, my father lost 40% of his liquid assets. Because he was like, really deep into the, stock market. And the only reason he had a really good friend from high school who was poor like him, who, when he got out of World War II, and he lost both his hands. He was a pilot, and he was trying to get out of the airplane, and the plane flipped, and snapped both his hands off. Did he go, ooh, what was me? No, he married his high school sweetheart who still loved him. Having looks didn't matter. He went to college. He went to work for an investment firm. And he rose up, but he didn't depend his value on what that company said he was. He just kept investing in certain things that would get him a return every season, right? And then reinvested in other things. And he was really good on picking up on what was, like he invested in Xerox, he invested in 3M, he invested in a bunch of other things of that nature. The only person who ever bought me any stock was him. And after my dad did that really terrible thing to me, and this guy had known me since I was a little kid. So he bought me a whole bunch of stock in Microsoft and Apple when they first started. Right? And right before 08 crash, I kind of liquidated all my stock holdings because they were all what I thought was at the height. Little did I know that if I everything collapsed, but within 2 or 3 years, they went higher and then went too low. So what's coming this way? The stock market is going through the roof. We're going to have an economic crash. Once we hit, I keep saying this. I said once it hits 27,000, it'll be bad. Well, we're at 28.6, and we dropped 600 yesterday, and no one seems to care. So it's going to be interesting. And I keep saying, right now. So today is the 1st of February, isn't it? Miss? Today's the 1st of February, right? Yeah. So we are now at 11 months of the window of opportunity. Right? Yep. Live long and prosper, okay? So, and when collapses occur, you will look at the past, and what we are told to be the past is not. While you're over there, could you do me a big favor, ma'am? Can you unplug that white plug there for me? And just hand it to me. Oh, thank you, dear. You're the best. So, okay. I'm gonna bail here soon. Packing up. So, what can I say? But I love you all. And I'm going to try and do a little interesting production. Not a chat because I can't chat out there in the deep green. But I'll leave you a little something, my little short ones, right? My post-produced short ones. So, there's 3 of you left, and you've said goodbye, and I'm going to say so long. What is it, 39? When it hits 39:39, which is almost now. Here's my little cursor. There it is. Bingo. Yes, I do.